I don't believe that you have to go to a church or a synagogue or a mosque to have an intimate relationship with God. And I think that's how society plays it to be. I don't like the term woke at all. I feel like the true meaning of woke is sometimes lost in the context in which we use it. When you become grounded and live in the present moment, certain things like, oh, the fact that you're single won't bother you.
Yeah.
Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome to my channel. So today we're going to be discussing spiritual awakening. So spirituality is living beyond the physical and material domain of existence. It's about gaining clarity, becoming more enlightened, and being able to fully comprehend situations. It's not a religion at all. I noticed that it's often associated with religion, but it's not. It's not an overnight venture. You don't get to make a decision to become spiritually woke. It's actually the initiation on the spiritual path. I don't like the term woke at all. I feel like the true meaning of woke is sometimes lost in the context in which we use it. And I believe that some people gain clarity on a particular situation or identify propaganda and automatically assume that they're woke and they know everything there is to know. But to be honest, you can experience a spiritual awakening and not be prepared for it, which could lead to anxiety, depression, and several other things, which could really disrupt your entire life. You know, on my spiritual awakening path, I realized that I began to question everything. That's like the number one thing that you notice. You question everything. And the number one thing that I questioned that was very challenging for me was my religion. I questioned my religion. Like, I grew up as being Christian and I grew up in the church, and I felt like it was vital that I attend church every Sunday in order for me to have that relationship with God. That was the main thing that I questioned. And what I questioned about it was, you know, I always felt judged in the church. It wasn't just by the people that were there. It's just the environment in itself and what it stood for. I don't believe that you have to go to a church or a synagogue or a mosque to have an intimate relationship with God. And I think that's how society plays it to be. I also don't believe that you have to go through prophets such as Jesus or Muhammad to have that intimate conversation with God or have that strong relationship and bond with God. I do believe that you're able to just go straight to the source, the highest power, and have that conversation and build that strong bond. I am very thankful for all the prophets for introducing the world to God. However, I don't believe that they are needed in a sense of having to go through prophets to have that conversation and that relationship with God. And I feel like that's a misconception that you have to attend church, you have to practice certain things in order for you to build that relationship with God. That's such a lie. I think some of my most, precious moments with God was right here in my own home. And as long as the relationship and the bond is solid, I don't believe that there's any church that I could step into, a synagogue or mosque, that could change that. And this is not to discredit any religion or anyone that's Muslim or Christian or anything like that. I respect all religion. I'm just saying that I'm not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. I believe that every decision that I make, every move that I make, everything that comes out of my mouth is meticulously guided by God. I think He speaks to me, speaks through me, and I don't need to step in a church to have that relationship or to have that strong bond and being able to have, that intimate moment when I need it. A few things that I noticed on my spiritual journey was that I was becoming more drawn to nature. I had an enhanced feeling of authenticity. I feel like I was creating my own authentic journey, which was something that was very interesting actually, because I was getting to really truly know myself. But I did have this sudden disruptive wave of emotions, which can be very overwhelming. Only because you're questioning so many things that it can be, a bit much. And that's what I was saying, that, a spiritual awakening can really disrupt your life if you're not prepared for it. But because I was taking the necessary steps to become more enlightened on making better decisions in my life and having a better relationship with God, that higher power, and being able to manifest the things that I wanted to manifest, I was, prepared for it in a sense. But, there were things in my life that came up during my spiritual awakening that made me realize like this is a lot to handle. I was questioning so much. I had to remove my perception of all situations and like really evaluate it and see what was best for me. Also, I stopped going by the words that were spoken to me when I would have conversation with friends or family. I would solely react on how I felt about what they were saying, the energy I was sensing, and the intentions behind their words. Why are you saying this? What are your intentions? And so when I was, able to identify those things and really identify them, let me tell you, I realized that, certain people weren't supposed to be in my life. Certain things or certain journeys I wasn't supposed to be on. And that's a hard pill to swallow when you're embarking on this journey and you realize like, God, I've been on this journey for so long and this is not even for me. Another thing was my relationship with, men. I am currently single. Let me add, I'm currently single. And I always blame myself, like I'm not doing something right. I need to focus on myself. I need to do this. I need to do that. Maybe if I do this, I'll be able to have a relationship. But to be honest, living in the present, I feel like spirituality is about living in the present. When I begin to live in the present, I realize that I'm good. I know who I am. I'm perfect the way I am, and I'm continuing to evolve. However, it doesn't make me less than a person because I'm not less than a woman because I'm not in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? When that time comes or that present comes where it's time for me to be in a relationship or that person comes along, then I'm going to welcome that positive energy in my life and build that foundation. But until then, I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm one with source, I'm one with the universe, and I'm one with nature. I don't feel less than or feel like I'm not fulfilled because I'm not in a relationship. And I think that's one of the main things about spirituality, becoming grounded. When you become grounded and live in the present moment, certain things like, the fact that you're single won't bother you. And, it's so easy to lose your momentum on the spiritual path because you have so much freedom when you're a spiritual person. You are relying on the inner voice, the intimate conversations that you have with God. You're relying on intuition. You're relying on being able to thoroughly evaluate situations and make a sound decision. And you have to be okay with whatever comes after. Like it's like a cause and effect. Because I made this decision, I got this outcome. And you have to be grounded with the decisions that you make, because if you're not, you're going to question, the whole spirituality. Some people love to be guided, and I think that's why a lot of people gravitate towards religion. But I love the freedom. I love to be able to just go on a porch and zoom out and just have a conversation with God. And that's my moment. That's my church. That's my mosque. That's my synagogue. You know what I mean? That moment in itself. I don't feel like, I enjoy the freedom, and I respect, as I mentioned, our religion. Some people feel the need to be guided. Some people feel the need to have certain limitations or have a set of rules. But I feel like as long as he continues to speak with me and speak through me, I'm good. As long as I'm welcoming those positive energies, as long as I'm, becoming more enlightened and gaining more clarity on what's happening in the world to be able to make a sound decision in my life and continue to let that path in my life grow and allow me to evolve as a person, I'm okay. So that's pretty much, my spiritual awakening moment. And I'm forever grateful for every step in my life. When I look at my life in its entirety, I feel like, the stage in my life where I was Christian, that was needed. I don't regret any of that. It led me to become the person that I am today. And I'm able to reflect and just appreciate everything. With spirituality, you focus on little things. I even noticed it's going to be weird things that happen. And the only reason why I say that is because I noticed, my name is Whitney Peoples. And I realized that there are 7 letters in my first, middle, and last name. And 7 is such a significant number in my life for some reason. I graduated in 2007. About 2 years ago, I said, like, okay, I'm working for this company. I'm excited to have this great opportunity, but this will be the last company that I work for before I step into entrepreneurship. And, you know, this year, once I began to realize like little things like the number 7, this is the 7th company that I work for in my life. And that's crazy to me that I made a decision 2 years ago that this will be the last company that I work for, and it just happens to be the 7th company. So it's little things like that where you'll begin to get into what numbers align with you, and you know what paths you should take, and you know where you stand in the universe and what mark that you're intended to make in this world. And I'm still growing, I'm still learning, and I'm very appreciative of everything, you know, that I'm going through right now. And I just hope that, you know, once you identify that you're experiencing a spiritual awakening, just embrace it and get to learn yourself and love yourself, and realize that everything happens for a reason, and live in the present time. Don't live in the past, don't live in the future, live in the present, because you don't want to become distracted. Distraction is probably like your number one enemy, you know, living in the past. Living in the past or the future. You want to stay grounded. You want to know that the now is what matters. Whatever you want to manifest, it already happened. If you're going to think about the future, think of it that way. Whatever I want, whatever I work for, whatever I believe, it's already done. And when you tend to think like that, it's nothing in this world that can come between you and that manifestation. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, you guys.